Hello traders, good morning or good afternoon depending on where you are. This is Mohamed Yaoud, the Chief Markets Analyst at Pure Prime. Today we're going to speak about the markets. Today is our weekly live analysis webinar. So let's talk about markets. Let's discuss what we expect to happen this week. What are the main economic events that will happen or should happen on the economic agenda? And let me tell you that the previous week was one hell of a week. It was very difficult to trade. Let me tell you, it was very volatile. We had a lot of movements in the market. So hopefully this week will not be any better. I was about to say hopefully this one will be better, but it's not. Basically, we will be having the FOMC meeting and the interest rate decision on the US dollar. So we might expect another crazy week to take place this few days. So basically, we're going to talk a little bit today about risk management, because in those times of volatility, when markets are going higher and going lower at the same time, so if you're on the buying side, you might lose money. If you're on the selling side, you also might lose money. This is where volatility is just crazy. We have seen crazy moves on the dollar index during the past week, and of course it affected as well the euro, the pound, and gold. Everything in the market was just going really crazy during the last week. Hopefully this one might be a little bit somehow lower, because in the FOMC meeting week, the week is divided into two: Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, when markets are basically waiting for the decision to be announced. Most of the traders are basically hesitant to enter any trades, so volatility is somehow low during this period. However, after the FOMC, of course, we have some fireworks in the markets, and expect some fireworks during this week's FOMC meeting. Of course, we might see some surprises. Good morning everyone. Hello, thank you very much for joining me today. Can we cover dollar JPY? Of course, yeah, we have the Bank of Japan will raise interest rates maybe during this upcoming meeting. So yeah, let's talk about markets, and let's start with the economic agenda for today. Basically, today is the lightest day in terms of the economic agenda. We have pretty much nothing to look for. So today, as we can see, is Monday the 10th of June. We had some data from the Japanese markets. How do we prepare for the surprise? I'll tell you, no worries guys. We will talk a lot today about the FOMC meeting, what are the expectations, and how we can get ready for such a big event in the markets. So we had some data from the Japanese markets. Today is a holiday or a day off in the Chinese market. So basically the volatility in the Asian markets were, let's say, light to medium, which is the normal for the Asian session. It's the basic for the Asian markets. However, during the maybe last 2 weeks, we had some extra higher than usual volatility during this period. So today things are just, we are just opening the markets. We're just seeing what could happen. So when we check the markets and when we check the charts, you would see that maybe pretty much nothing happened in today's Asian session, because the Chinese markets were basically off. Okay, going forward, we have nothing to look for. We only have the 3-year note auction, which is pretty much nothing that you should be concerned about. And moving forward to tomorrow, Tuesday, the 11th of June, things will start to get a little bit exciting. We have very important data from the British economy, which is the average earnings index. And as we said before, any economy, whatever the country is, has some common indicators or economic measures, because at the end of the day, it's an economy, okay? Whether it's the British economy or the US economy or whatever it is, even the Chinese economies and everything, you want to know how your economy is doing. And if you want to know this, you have a set of or a few of indicators to check for inflation, to check for the employment or unemployment, to check for the labor market, the prices, and so on. So whatever the name for the indicator is might be a little different from a country to another, but the indicators itself for economic data, they are the same. So in tomorrow's data from the pound, I want you to think of the claimant count change as the NFB, but from the UK economy or from the British economy. So it's pretty much the most important figure for the unemployment that they have in the British economy, which is called the claimant count change, and for the average earnings index. It's earnings and it's the average, which is exactly what we call in the US economy as the average wage or the wages. So it's pretty much the same. We also have the employment change and the unemployment rate. It's pretty much the same name, whatever the country is. So that's something that you should look for in tomorrow's day, which is Tuesday in London session. That's from the British economy. And going forward, we will be having the OPEC monthly report. It's not usually that this monthly report is really important. However, during this time and what's happening in the oil markets after OPEC's last meeting and last decision, what's happening with the geopolitical tensions and everything, you know, the oil markets have had a very, very great week during the last one. So I think that markets will be waiting for the monthly report from OPEC to confirm what they do believe or not believe in the markets for this period. We have a few speeches from the ECB members. Lane and Elderson will be speaking tomorrow, not that important. And we also have the EIA short-term energy outlook also as well, not important. So yeah, let's sum up Tuesday. We will only be looking at the pound news. The pound news, as we said, it's the most important news from the labor market in the British economy. Moving forward to Wednesday, we have the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, and as well as the PPI, Producer Price Index, from the Chinese economy. It's really important to keep an eye on it. Where can we get the correct info about these indicators? Is it changing daily or weekly? You have many websites. The one I use here is investing.com. You have investing.com, you have Forex Factory, you have yeah, that's what I have on top of my head at the moment. So it's investing and Forex Factory. That's basically the most trusted. Okay, so that's for the data from the Chinese economy. We also have another data from the British economy. The GDP as well is important. So yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday will be tough days for the pound. We have the German CPI, not so important. Monthly report from the IEA, not that important. Boom, we have the CPI. Boom, we have the CPI for the US economy during this week, which is Wednesday. So CPI is basically the inflation. And when it comes to the inflation in the United States economy, it's really important. We have 4 figures for the CPI, or 4 figures for the inflation. It's called the Consumer Price Index, and it has 2 types: the Consumer Price Index and the Core Consumer Price Index. The core, which is the main one, let's say, neglects some items of the list. You have some items like vegetables, let's say, fruit and vegetables. The prices of those items are very variable depending on what time in the season you are, depending on the weather and so on. So you cannot really judge inflation based on an item which is already, you know, has a standard deviation in its price. It moves quite a lot. So we neglect some of those, you know, prices or items that's naturally, you know, variable, and we check the other more stable ones. So that's for the core CPI. The CPI itself, we just calculate everything all together, and we have both those numbers as a monthly figure, so we compare it with the previous month, or a yearly figure, so we compare it with the same month but of the previous year. This is really important. Hello, Mr. Yahout, my question after open for question. I will ask about that. Okay, green new all-time high. We will check it when we check the Nasdaq. Okay. Going forward, a lot of speeches from the ECB. Crude oil inventories, not that important. Oh yeah, the crude oil inventories is important this week. It's really important because what happened to the number or the figure during the last week makes us believe that we might see some extra volatility in the US oil market during this announcement. So yeah, that's what happened during the last figure. The inventory is basically piled up or increased by 1.25 million barrels. So it's basically not so good indicator about the oil markets. We will check it for this week as well, and that's for Wednesday. So on Tuesday, how many people watching this webinar? I'm not sure why you're asking this question. Why would it really concern you? But we're talking about around 50 people watching us right now. Thank you very much for watching this. Okay, so on Tuesday, just to sum up the week so far, on Tuesday we have the employment data from the British economy. As we said, it's like the NFP in the US, but for the British economy. And we also, on Wednesday, we have some data from the British economy regarding the GDP. And of course, the CPI from the US economy. Moving forward to Thursday. Oh, no, on Wednesday. I was looking for the FOMC. It's on Wednesday, guys. It's here. The FOMC is on also Wednesday. So after the CPI will be announced 4:30 Dubai time. And on the same day, we have the FOMC and the federal interest rate decision. That's on around 10 p.m. And yeah, this is just the most important thing. You will not look for this week only, but anytime. Yes, we will definitely talk about gold. People are so excited to check on the technical analysis. Okay, let's sum up this this economic agenda. Yeah, before we do this, let's talk quickly about the FOMC meeting. What will happen during this week is 99% or 99.9%, they will fix interest rates around the same levels of 5.5%, okay? Why? Because basically they have no plans right now to raise interest rates. Of course, we are done raising interest rates, and they are not sure yet that they can cut interest rates during this period. However, although we know that they will fix interest rates, and although we know that the general outcome from the meeting, we have no idea how markets will behave after the meeting, because it's not about the meeting itself. It's about the press conference. The press conference is where Jerome Powell, who's the federal chairman of the Federal Reserve, basically talks to the markets in front of reporters and journalists, and he tries to give some forward guidance about what the Federal Reserve will basically do during the next period. This, the markets doesn't know. And let me tell you that the Federal Reserve, I really believe they don't really know what will happen in the next period, because what they do is something that we call as data-dependent policy. They wait for the economic data. They want to check whether the employment is going up or down, and they want to know whether the inflation is going down or is it still sticky, and it's hard to combat. So markets will try to figure out any forward guidance during the next period, and this is how markets will react. If for any reason Jerome Powell gave to the markets a sentiment that we might start cutting interest rates during maybe or starting from September, I really believe the dollar will go down, because cutting interest rates is not good for the dollar. Or on the other hand, if Jerome Powell mentioned anything about, yeah, we still have time, we cannot still cut interest rates, the inflation is high, and so on. So I think this will give a boost to the US dollar during the next period. We have a lot of engagement today, guys. Thank you very much for this, but just calm down. I'll get everything answered for you during this webinar. On Thursday, we have the PPI numbers. PPI, which is the Producer Price Index. We said the Producer Price Index is somehow a leading indicator to the CPI, because let's say I'm a consumer, okay? We are all consumers. If we as consumers feel that prices are going higher, so this is the inflation that we call as the CPI, Consumer Price Index. However, if the producer himself is facing higher prices for higher raw materials, higher transportation, logistic costs, or whatever, he will be having this inflation, which will be calculated as producer price index. However, what most businesses will do, they will start raising their prices. So this unit, let's say it costed me $50 and I sold it for $30. If it's costing me more, I'm sorry, if it's costing me $30 and I'm selling it for $50. If it's costing me like $40, I might raise my prices. So somehow the inflation that's felt by the producers is passed on to the consumers. So it's a leading indicator for the consumer price index. Thank you very much. We have a lot of Indian people today. Welcome to India and all my love to India. Okay. And let's end this with Friday data. I think we have nothing of importance to look at. Only the inflation expectations from Michigan on the US economy. And that's all what we need to discuss today on the economic agenda. People are excited to go through the technical analysis. Let's do it. Guys, if you have any technical analysis pair, or I mean dollar, whatever currency you want, or whatever thing you need me to look at, just please leave it in the comments section and I'll make sure that I'll be discussing everything by the end of this webinar. So let's start with the dollar index. The dollar index during the last week. So guys, because I do really believe we have a lot of people today who's attending for the first time, let me explain quickly how we do our technical analysis. We follow the top-down analysis. The top-down is we start with the weekly time frame. We check the weekly candles. I do not, use any charts or any graphs on the weekly time frame. No any line studies. I just look at the candles. So on this candle on the weekly time frame, what it says is it's a really bad candlestick. Why is that? It's a bullish candle. Okay, during the last week, we ended bullish on the US dollar. However, if you can see, we already created a lower low and a lower high. So it's bullish, but not so bullish. That's what I see on the dollar index on the weekly time frame. Okay. Moving down to the daily time frame, it pretty much seems obvious to me that we are about to end this correction because we were heading higher, lower, that's a high and a low. We have a higher high, this is a higher low, which is great. However, what happened is we are having here a double bottom. That's the first bottom. We failed to break below and we're heading higher. So currently on the daily time frame, we are trading in a sideways range, right? We can definitely see some lows being formed around the same levels of 104, some highs being formed at the levels of 105.30. So it's a sideways range. Let's see it more clearly on the 4-hour time frame. This is exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So in this case, what do? We create two scenarios, a bullish scenario and a bearish scenario. The bullish scenario says that we should break above and stay above the levels of 105.20. In this case, we'll continue moving higher. Will I believe that this will happen? I don't really believe so. Why? Because the dollar index has been edging higher for the past maybe 2 days. I mean, of the previous week. So we have on the 1-hour time frame, you have the European session, the US session, and the Asia session all went higher on Friday. I think during today's sessions, we will be edging lower a little bit to the nearest support, which I can see is just around here. The level of 104.75 roughly. This is where I expect this move lower to stop, and we will think, okay, if the dollar index went lower to this level, will we expect this, or will we respect this level and move again higher, or will we continue moving lower to the bottom of, you know, the whole sideways range? This will depend on the price action. Okay, but overall, the weekly has a resistance here, the 105.30. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about, the 105.30, which is the resistance on the 4-hour time frame. A break and a close above this level will definitely push the dollar higher to the levels of 106. Will we break during this week or not? Will it be before the FOMC meeting or after? This is something that we will be watching closely during the week. We cannot really expect anything on the dollar index on the week of the FOMC meeting, okay? So for now, for today and for tomorrow, I think the dollar will be edging lower just to retrace part of the previous move. And yeah, if we're looking at this level roughly as support, I think this will be anywhere between the 38 and the 50. Yeah, exactly, 38.20% and the 50% Fibonacci retracement. This is where I'll be looking. So currently we are 105.15. I'm looking for a move lower to the 104.75. Many currency pairs refuse to react to such indicators, even high impact news. Many currency pairs refuse to react. Sometimes, yeah, because sometimes the news are basically digested in the market. If I and you and everyone here are expecting a certain outcome from an economic news, maybe we will react to this before the event takes place, so it's already digested in the market. So on that weekly chart, using trend lines wouldn't be a bad idea. It definitely wouldn't be, but it would be a long-term trade if you're acting on a weekly time frame and using trend lines. I think any trade on this weekly time frame could take up to months for it to play out, whether to reach stop loss or to reach take profit. I'm looking pullback down in DXY, then buy. My overall bias is buying DXY for this week, but first I need a pullback. You are great. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'm basically looking for. However, I will never ever buy the dollar index, even from here, without price action first. So my friend, yeah, we are looking for a pullback. Let's see this pullback play out, and after we find the confirmation, we will definitely look for some buys on the dollar index. I don't want to waste a lot of time explaining the same on the euro on the opposite side, but yeah, it's pretty much the opposite. The weekly time frame, the previous week was basically bearish, so this one is already pushing lower. This is the weekly time frame, which started today, and it's already down around 35 points. However, let me tell you something. This weekly candle, as soon as it started, definitely went to create the low, okay? I don't believe this will end as it is. Of course, we are still in the middle of the week, but I believe we will, or we probably see prices moving higher to form a higher wick. We didn't have any higher wick so far. Okay, so prices from here might go up a little bit, around maybe 40-50 pips, to form a high before continuing to see where price will go. So we are bearish. What's this? We are bearish on the euro, but yeah, as we said on the dollar, we are looking for a pullback. This time on the euro, it will be a pullback to the upside first, and this is something of interest, okay, because it was a sideways range. Somehow it's not a double top, it's not a perfect double top, but something like this. We failed to break this high. We broke the low, I think we might see an upward move first before continuing lower. Okay, so this is what I'll be looking for on the euro. On the daily time frame, we already reached this support. I think this is a level of support here, somewhere around here. We already reached this level, and I can see that price is already starting to react. This is wrong. We are not in Asia anymore. It's not 9 a.m. Wait, something's wrong with trading view charts for some time, guys, and let me tell you, something is wrong with trading view charts. It's not being updated. We have some gaps here. It's still in Asia. 10th of June, 9 a.m. I need some proper data feed. Something is wrong with the euro, as well as, oh, it's the 4-hour time frame, guys. Sorry, my bad. It's the 4-hour time frame. So this, okay, that's the 1-hour time frame. Exactly. It's my bad. Okay, so that's the support I'm looking at. We already are trying to see some bullish price action from here. The momentum here is heading higher. So I believe a move higher to the level of maybe 1.08 is something I'll be looking at on the euro versus the dollar. Euro break the trend line, a retest is needed, and we sell easy. Not sure what trend line you are talking about. Probably something like this. But I don't really trade the trend lines. Yeah, if you're talking about this trend line, probably, yes, good idea. Will the retest be a little bit too far? Are we talking about like 80 pips? Maybe. I'll try to play it safe. I'll target first the 1.08. And if we broke, maybe you can target another 40 pips. But yeah, what you're saying is legit, 100%. Okay, on the pound versus the dollar, I'm really sad our head and shoulders pattern for the previous week didn't play out. Remember, guys, when we said that was a very clean head and shoulders here, and that was on Monday. Yeah, we were talking on Monday on the previous session. We said we are just waiting for a break below, I think 1.27 was it exactly. And yeah, this level was just about to get broken, and we will be selling the pound. However, we got this huge move in the opposite direction. So although I do believe that this is still that the pound is trying to find a top formation, it failed. It's not a head and shoulders anymore. Maybe it will be a wedge, maybe it will be another pattern, maybe it's just a sideways range, but the head and shoulders pattern didn't complete, so we didn't basically short the pound dollar. What do you trade? I think the pound will keep going up. Got your laptop now. Okay, guys, you are so excited to use this chat feature today. Okay, the pound, definitely what we are seeing here is a loss of momentum. Okay, that's on the 4-hour time frame. We were moving lower. As we are approaching support, which is the 1.27, I can see that prices are not so inclined to move lower. I believe this might be a bullish divergence on the daily or maybe the 30 minutes time frame. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So it's a 30 minutes time frame. After a huge move lower, we are starting to move. Yeah, we are still moving lower, but momentum is weak, very weak to the downside. We have two scenarios to buy the pound versus the dollar, because I believe the pound is much cleaner than the euro. Okay, either we move lower to test the 1.27, and with bullish price action from here we can go long after confirming that we respected the 1.27, or if prices from here and this is the lower possible or the lower probable scenario. Prices continued to just break above resistance, which is the 1.2730. A break and a confirmed break and trading above the 1.27. You see this huge clean price action here. This one. We moved really quickly on the way down. I might be explaining this in future webinars, but when this move happens, when the markets move really quickly, it's not a gap, okay? But markets cover many prices at maybe 30 minutes time. So this move was around how many? Like 50, 70 pips. 70 pips in a 30 minutes time frame. That's a lot. This means that not all prices in this range got covered, which means that prices most probably will come back to those levels and trade within those limits slowly again to fill those prices that haven't been filled or traded on the way down. So if you see this in the previous history, you will see that, yeah, when prices cover prices or moves a lot, most often than not, it will come back again to cover those. So I'm looking for a move higher on the pound versus the dollar during this week. When will it start? Either from the levels of 1.27 or by a break above the 1.2730. So we are just waiting for prices to move away or out from those 30 pips range, okay? What do you think of the pound CAD? I'll check it. I'm enjoying your analysis. It's quite detailed. I see gold in the upward trend most of the part. Okay, first part, you're enjoying my analysis. That's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you very much. I see gold. We'll check gold right now. Pound have some strength compared to euro. Yes, 100%. Nice price action. Price action elite. Thank you. The chart you're analyzing, is it a live chart? 100%. It makes sense that, okay, people are talking about gold a lot. Let's check gold and we'll come back to the other currencies, okay? I don't want you guys to be in more suspense. People who have been following our weekly analysis for some time now, I think we have been doing this for 2 months maybe. We said something really important when we had this false breakout, okay? We said that when prices are moving in a sideways range and we have a false breakout to either side, most often than not, like 80-90%, prices will come back to trade again to target the support. So in this case, let me explain it to you in another way. If you're having resistance and you have support, okay? What happened here was prices were moving between resistance and support. We had a false break. We broke lower. In this case, most probably we will go again to target the support. Okay? In the opposite scenario, if we're having support and resistance, prices are trading between them like this, from support to resistance, and we have a false breakout to the downside. We close above again. Most probably prices will definitely head to the resistance. It will not stop in the midway. It will not stop, you know, halfway through. It will most probably target the other area. So this is what we said about gold maybe like a few weeks ago, and this is what's happening. We already targeted the support. We broke below. Okay, is it a confirmed break or not? Is it a confirmed break or not? This is the question. Anyway, we will not be deciding this. What will decide this move, whether this is a confirmed break or not, is the FOMC meeting. However, during the beginning of this week, this was a huge bearish candle, right? I think we might be going up a little bit before continuing, even if we'll continue to the lower side. So it's either move upper to continue higher or move upper to retrace and move lower. This is what, you know, the weekly time frame is showing me. So I'm a little bit bullish on gold during maybe the beginning of this week. Can news direction be predicted? 100%. No, never predict news, because you're not the US government. How will you know the inflation, what's doing in the US? You know, I'm an Egyptian. I live in Dubai, whatever. I don't know what inflation will be doing in the country I live in. As I'm a consumer, you know, you can never predict. So I think we don't have any US citizens here in this webinar today. We cannot. We are not the US government. So just don't predict news. This is the support. It's much clearer now here on the daily time frame, and we are reaching the support. I believe we are heading higher from here. So the daily time frame so far supports our move on the 1 hour, on the weekly, sorry. And yeah, this is great, 100%. Why? Remember, guys, when I told you don't trade price action, but trade highs and lows near the support and resistance. What I mean is, we moved lower, we formed support, we formed resistance. This is a sideways range. In order for me to buy gold today, I want prices to break above this tiny resistance, which is exactly Asian high, let's say, which is 22.98. okay? As soon as we break above, guys, because we are already just about to enter the European session. So with the European session, we have a lot of volume. Once we have the London session kick in, we have this volume, a break above 22.98. We will target 23.14 and 23.37 maybe. 23.37, yeah. This is something that I'll be looking to trade at the gold during today. Gold is both on support using trend line and straight line. Yeah, this is the straight line. Let me check what trend line you are talking about. I think, oh, wow, is it this one? No. I don't really work with trend lines, but I don't know why people really love him. No, I don't really see any trend lines support at the moment. Anyway, you might have another trend line drawn on your chart. I've tried to catch it, but no, I'm not seeing this from my end here. Old support for you from Egypt. Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad. No, I'm Muhammad. How will a lower than anticipated CPI print affect gold? Lower than anticipated CPI means that the CPI is moving lower, means that the Federal Reserve might be happy and might be inclined to decrease interest rates soon, which means that the dollar will go down and gold will go up. Okay, and this is how it works. I love how gold seems because I had a similar analysis early. Thank you, Chief. Thank you very much. Thank you. What's the best way to trade news? Stay away from news. That's the best way to trade, because guys, there are times in the markets when you should buy, there are times when you should sell, and there are times when you should just wait. Okay. Richard, you want to trade news, flip a coin, and if you get head, then buy before news. If you get tail, then sell before news. 100%, Abhishek, I agree with you. You will still get 50% win rate because of probability. Yes, Abhishek, I agree with you 100%. It's nothing than just, you know, it's not prediction, because it's gambling 100%. CPI, interest rates, and Fed are best friends, absolutely. Okay, guys, have we covered everything? Let's have a look on the Dow Jones, and it's great. Yeah, I was looking on the Dow Jones, to be honest with you, today. And on the weekly, it's nothing. The previous week was just very bad, lower high and higher low. So it's, you know, an inside bar. On the daily time frame, it's bearish because we were heading higher. the previous week was, or the previous last day of the week, which is Friday, was basically bearish, so it might start a move lower. On the 4-hour time frame, yeah, this is why I'm saying it's great, because prices were moving down, we headed higher again, we touched the resistance, which was a previous support, and we are moving lower. So it's a top formation, okay? And not only this, I'm having a clear bearish divergence on the momentum indicator, okay? And yeah, I'm expecting a move lower. This is the top formation I'm looking at. So we were moving like higher high, higher low. Highs and lows started getting, you know, closer to each other. We are even breaking below. So this is how market sentiment shifts from a move higher to a move lower. I think we can at least aim for 38,400, something around this level. Okay, that's for the Dow Jones. We have a question about Nasdaq. We have a question here about Nasdaq. The weekly time frame, 100% bullish. We were moving higher. That was a bearish candle, so there was resistance here. However, the following week, we broke above resistance immediately. And it wasn't really resistance, it was a retest, was it? Yeah, it was a higher high. It was a high, broke higher, retest, confirm, moving higher. I think Nasdaq is bullish 100%. And I know that US markets move in the same manner, but recently, because what's happening with the technology sector, Nvidia stock, what's happening with the AI boom, and all of this craziness that's happening, you might see that the Nasdaq is 100% bullish more than the Dow Jones. So I'm expecting basically a move higher. Although I'm expecting a move lower on the Dow Jones, there are no reasons for me to believe that the Nasdaq will go any lower. It's just a move higher. Even the correction is a sideways. It's not able to form a bearish correction. It's a sideways. So I believe it will be heading higher. Sky is the roof for Nasdaq. And in this, at those times when, especially in the US markets, when something is moving higher, don't fight it. Remember, I'm not sure if we have anyone here who was trading in the markets back in COVID-19 periods. How many times the Dow Jones gave us a clear technical sell opportunity that was just by the book. And once you sell, you just hit your stop loss because the Dow Jones was moving higher no matter what was happening. I think the Nasdaq will enter some sort of a similar period here. AUD USD, let me check quickly. We have a question here about the Australian dollar. The Aussie, where is it? It has been a long time. What is happening here? Yeah, 90 pips. Okay, I think that's regarding the comments from the Reserve Bank of Australia. Overall, it's moving in a sideways range. The previous week was bearish. I think we will be moving lower. That's my bias on the weekly. On the daily, yes, we have the same bias. It was moving higher. Come on. Not only it touched the this downward trend line or the upper limit of the symmetrical triangle, it also formed a double top and it broke below. We're looking for a retest, a move lower. Pretty simple analysis. That's what price action does. Okay. On the 4-hour time frame, we have the resistance here, a move higher. I think we might overshoot this resistance a little bit. So let me check on Fibonacci. 50% Fibonacci is somewhere around here. We have tons of candles, wicks, and price action here previously, so that was good support. We broke below. I think a retest to the levels of 1.6628 is something that we will be looking for to short the AUD USD. Or other probable scenario is break below, continue directly. Okay, it's a probable scenario. How will I know? On the 1 hour time frame, see what we are having here. We are having support, and now we are forming resistance, right? After we form this resistance, I will wait. If we break the support directly, so it means the correction will not happen. If we broke above resistance, so the correction will extend a little bit, and then we can short and move lower. This is how you know where prices will go. Now, if you tell me where do I believe AUD USD will go, I will tell you I don't know. Maybe it will move higher, maybe it will move lower. In both cases, I'm prepared 100% with my technical scenario. So when we create resistance and we break above this resistance, I'll be buying for maybe 25-30 pips, and I'll be selling from here. So I'm prepared with my technical scenario. If we broke below support directly, I'll be selling short. Can you explain your entry model? That's a big model. It's not really a big model, but it has a lot of details because I just trade using price action. As you can see, this even indicator, I sometimes use it to confirm divergence and to confirm momentum, but my entries, my exits, my take profits and stop losses and everything has everything to do with the candles alone. So I use some technical candlestick patterns. I see the highs and lows of the candles and so on. So it's a lot to explain. However, I'll definitely do it in a webinar, educational webinar. We are about to make lower lows on the Dow Jones, 100%. Which indicators do you normally use? Can it be shared? I only use this indicator. It's called the squeeze momentum. It's a mix between two other indicators, which are the Bollinger Bands and the Keltner channels. It's just a momentum indicator. However, I will love it 100% more than the RSI, the MACD, or any other, the normal indicators, because I believe it's lagging. Okay, all momentum indicators are lagging. However, it's a little bit faster, like a touch faster than the other momentum indicators. And anyway, if you're using momentum on any indicator, the divergence is the only leading indicator in the market, 100%. Let's say for this, let me clear this for you. Okay, this support, prices were moving down, we moved higher, prices moved down again. How can I know here if prices will respect support or not? 100%. Look at momentum. You will find bullish divergence. Boom. It's a leading indicator. So if I was here and I'm looking if we will break below the support or not, once I find bullish candles, so there is slight price action. Where is the momentum? The momentum was not even close to the previous low. So it's a leading thing, to tell you that we are going in this direction or not. Nasdaq is also still bullish because we have strong fundamentals even on companies' sides. 100%, yes. Because Nasdaq is the technology sector index. So as long as we are in this AI technology boom and everything, we are heading higher than Nasdaq. What's your method of confirmation? Candlestick closes. Okay. If I'm looking at support on the 30-minute time frame, I would love to see a candle closing in my direction on the 30 minutes time frame. Is it a 4-hour time frame? I'll still look for a 4-hour candle and so on. I think it's a bearish flag. I think you're talking about the AUD USD. Yes, it might be. However, in order to confirm that this is a bearish flag, we must break below support. So in this case, it will be a bearish flag. Trading View is giving me some hard time here. We must break below support, and as I told you, it's Anyway, one of my scenarios, a break below the support, I'll definitely short, and we will have some very good profits to the downside. Nice, Mr. Mohammed. Thank you very much. Thank you. Are we focusing on technicals only today? No, I think you are late to join us. We have discussed the economic agenda and the FOMC meeting we are expecting today. What normally causes sharp sell on JPY pairs? Interference by the Bank of Japan to support their currency, because if you're having the dollar yen pair, let's say, those sharp moves to the downside, it means that the dollar is getting weak against the Japanese yen, or Japanese yen is getting stronger by comments from the Bank of Japan, or they basically interfere in markets to support their currencies. The conspiracy in JPY pairs are interest rates differentials in pairs. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm loving this analysis. Thank you very much. Dollar has bigger interest rates than JPY because JPY mandates our negative rates policy. Yes, that's why the dollar versus the Japanese is 456. Okay, guys, I think I've already answered all of your questions. Please let me know if there's something else I've missed. Oh, there is another section for questions and answers. So this was for the chat. Proper way to set up ahead of major impact news release like NFBs. The major determined last month's data compared to current. Proper way to set up data. Set up ahead of major impact news release. No. Last month's data has nothing to do with the future releases. Exactly like technical analysis. When we say we study the previous price action, however, it has nothing to do with the future. We are just trying to find clues, but you cannot, you know, use this as confirmation. I'm not clear though, but I got from what you said that the best way to trade the news is to avoid it. So I'm good with that 100%. Yeah, there are news we can trade with, and there are news we just definitely could or should avoid, like the FOMC meeting, interest rate decision, NFB, those big major moves, just stay away. Last question on gold. Can you consider the price action as a double bottom on 1 hour and 5 and 15 minutes? Might be. I know what I can see what you're saying. 15 minutes. Yes, but might be a double bottom. However, for any double bottom to be confirmed, what should we have? A break above this. So we formed a low resistance between both, another lower bottom. Once we break above this resistance, then we have a confirmed double bottom, and that's exactly why I said I'll be waiting for this resistance to be broken so I can buy gold on the or during the day. What do you think about proof from industry? Because recently a lot of... What do you think about professionals from industry? Because recently a lot of professionals from doing scams. I'm not sure what you mean. Suji analyzed gold today. Yeah, we have spoken about gold already. Good analysis, Mr. Mohammed. Thank you very much, guys. I'm so much flattered with your comments. Thank you very much. I really hope, because, you know, this is my main goal. Analysis sessions, I do my best 100% to provide you with the whole picture, you know, the overall picture, to help you trade, set your analysis, you know, give you scenarios, even if I don't know where markets were going. Because, guys, a good analyst is not the one who will always tell you what will happen in the markets. I'm not a magician, okay? In times when I don't really know what will happen, in times when we are having major news coming and things can go this or the other way, I will just try to get you prepared. If this happened, we will do this, and if this happened, we'll do this, because at the end of the day, I'm not only an analyst, I'm a trader. I do this. So I'm prepared, you're prepared, we are watching the markets, we have our supports and resistances, we know what we will do if what happened, and we will be waiting to tackle the week. Very happy with your simplicity and analysis, Richard. Thank you very much. You have done well for yourself in the markets. Your sleepless nights have paid off, and it's evident. Big well done, and bigger thank you for sharing this knowledge. Gareth, that's supposed to be one of the sweetest things I've ever heard in a live session. Thank you very, very much. I hope the class is not just for today, sir, because I'm seriously falling in love with it. It's not. It's always on Mondays, same time, 12 p.m. Dubai time. So you can just, check where in the world you are. Dubai time is GMT +4. It's a weekly live analysis session. We do this. We have been doing this for the past 2 months, and we will definitely continue to do it. And today, guys, we have the most number of attendees right now. We're talking about around 63 attendees were with us. Thank you. Guys, I will have to wrap this up because in 3 minutes, I'll have another session for our clients in the MENA region, though I'll have to join with them right now. Thank you very, very much for your comments. I'll see you again next week at the same time. You guys made my day. Thank you very much. You have a safe trading week. Please use your stop loss, and please always just, stick to your risk management rules. You have a good day. Thank you, and bye-bye.